India Free Trade Agreement, of course, was the beginnings of it, and I think it was even going to be signed in the next little while. Teena, obviously, most importantly, we've spent 2 years talking about not being overly reliant on China. This helps us not be overly reliant on China. It's a huge win for the government, but of course it ain't front page news because it didn't happen 15 years ago and it's not part of a shit show.
No, it's a deal breaker and a great achievement for the government. This is wonderful news, wonderful for the country, and we can finally become less and less reliant on China. This was the intent and the policy of the Prime Minister all along, and I've got to say, everything he said he was going to do, he's done. He's a man that does what he says and does what's best for the country, Paul. This is terrific news and should be front page news everywhere.
Yeah, Dan Tehan spoke about this today, of course, the Trade Minister, saying that the wine industry will be a big winner in this.
We get preferential access into the Indian wine market that no other country enjoys. For our wool exporters, they get the tariff eliminated immediately, and India is one of our largest export destinations for our wool. It's a major win for us, and most importantly, 1 in 5 jobs in Australia are relying on exports, and it's 1 in 4 jobs in regional Australia. So deals like this underpin our economic future.
Now, Rowan, that's all the upside. I don't know where the downside is on this. I've got to say I wasn't a fan of the China Free Trade Agreement because you always think there's a sting in the tail generally here. We always talk about the up, but we don't know what the down is. But as a rule, we have spent 2 years saying don't be reliant on China. This means we're not.
Absolutely. Look, the downside, the only downside as far as I'm aware, as Matt Canavan has pointed out, you know, it would have been nice to include this and that for the dairy industry or whatever, which is great. And I'm sure those things will happen in time, or hopefully they will. But yeah, the upside is huge on this because we are in a whole new geopolitical game with China. China has shown, particularly over the last couple of years, that they will use trade with us as a weapon against us. Well, that's not what mates do. So we need new mates, and India will be our new mates. They're a huge country, massive population there, massive markets there for us to sell our goods into. It's a win-win.
Yeah, Sam?
Look, I agree absolutely with everything Rowan said. The one thing that nags at me about this, and it's certainly not any reason to vote against it, it is just this nagging thing that at the moment where we are in the middle of a geopolitical chess match or whatnot, and Modi is sidling up to Putin in a way that I find absolutely reprehensible.
It's a big asterisk. I'm with you.
You know, and I just think timing it right now, I don't think there's anything you can do. These things have a life of their own, and when you get a deal, you've got to announce a deal. It is just this one part that sits really uneasily with me that, you know... You're right. But it comes down to the fact that India doesn't feel, you know, India has a long history with Russia, and India doesn't feel that it can afford to maybe the answer
upset
is more
the Russians. So more engagement should help.
Yeah, but and if it gives us leverage of that, but I'll always take the world's biggest democracy over China all day, any day.